Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at Karon. For those of you who have followed my channel regular, you know I've been doing a mini series on this area, and we're back over here and I'm going to be carrying on that series. Today we're going to take a look at what I would call the middle area of Karon, which is often overlooked, but there's a lot of facilities in this area, and where I'm near is by Luang Phor Chuan Road, if I've pronounced that right. That's the road we're going to walk down. The road just here behind me is the Phuket Road, and before we walk down the said road, we're going to take a look at this area, because there is some guest houses off the main site that I've just spoke about, and a lot of people have asked me about this area and what it's like. Well, I haven't been around here for quite some time, so I want to be nosy and take a look. You will know, if you've followed the series on Karon, I've covered the northern part, I've covered the beach, and I've covered the southern part, and that just leaves the middle part really before we move on to the nightlife. So this is the Viking guest house. Now, somebody asked me about that. Hello, how are you? Yeah, busy? Yeah, okay. Upstairs is good? Okay, okay. And actually it is looking, believe it or not, quite busy in the Karon area, given the weather. But there's a few different places around here, a few guest houses. Obviously you've got the Viking, as I've mentioned, and there's a few more, and there's, well, I was going to say, there was a load of bars down there, but as you can see, they've gone. So that just shows you how often it changes around here. There were several small, they were only small places, but lined up down there, which was great in the evening time, but they've cleared them. Since I last was over here, it has been a while, but they've gone, and that just shows you how it's changing all the time. So as we're walking down here onto Luang Phor Chuan Road, I just want to quickly mention about the weather, because the weather's been not so good the last few weeks, I'll be honest with you. The monsoons have come quite late this year. They've come towards the end of October. Oh, big dog there. I'm glad he's on a lead. You do have to be careful of side dogs. Another one there. So yeah, as I was saying, the weather not so great at the moment. The monsoons seem to come quite late this year. The vegetarian festival, which is something I regularly cover, normally they have the monsoons around that time, and that festival was late taking place, the end of October. Normally it's at the beginning of October, and it seems that the monsoons season follows that festival for some reason. It's something to do with the lunar, I forget what it's, the 9th lunar moon or something like that, the Chinese calendar, and it does seem that the monsoons coincide with that festival, and that festival started very late this year, as I say, and we are seeing a lot of rain. In fact, yesterday the Met Office have given out another weather warning. Unfortunately, this weather is going to continue up until the 27th of this month at least. It may go on even more than that, and it has been raining this morning. I've not long come through Patong, and it was just before you get to Patong, coming over the hill, it was raining, but it did clear up once I got into Patong, and you can see it's not raining now, but when I was walking down here just 5 minutes ago, it was spitting with rain. So the weather's very changeable. So what I would say is, if you are coming over here in the next couple of weeks, then be prepared. Have some things that you can do if the weather's not so good, as I've said before, because it is a gamble. Even right up until December we get rain some years. Now I know a lot of people will say, oh, I went there last November and it was beautiful, but that was last year. Last year has no influence on this year, and honestly I've been coming to Phuket for a very long time now, 15 years plus, and living here for 8 years. So I do see the weather patterns firsthand, and they are different every year. You can't say, oh well, last November was beautiful, so this November is going to be beautiful. It just doesn't work like that. So if you're going to come at this sort of time of year, outside of January, February and March, which are normally scorching hot, then you are susceptible to some rainfall. And reading the local media, they mentioned that the rainfall for October and November have been the highest this year for several years. So that just shows you what it's like. It can change. It doesn't matter what it was like last year or the year before, it's what it's like now. And I can tell you now, there's a lot of showers about. There is breaks in the weather. You will see some sunshine. Little side down there. I don't think I've ever been down there. There's quite a few little places to explore actually along this road. You've got a big resort area down there. I'm going to talk about resort areas and reviews on hotels in a moment. As we make our way down here, massage shops, quite a few of those down this area, and there's a little shopping area down the bottom as well. As I said, quite some good facilities along this side actually, plenty of restaurants. You can see there's a few people about. It's not totally quiet. It's actually looking quite busy, if I dare say that. Patong was looking quite busy. The beach area, there's a lot of people in the sea, even though the weather's not great. I'm not going to talk about that because I've talked about that enough. I think that's called the Phuket Orchid Resort. And I was reading on a very well-known review website, web app, whatever you want to call it, app site, about reviews of some of the hotels in this area. And honestly, some of the reviews were quite shocking. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to please everybody, but when you get a lot of reviews saying the same, not just about this hotel, about the old Phuket, the Horizon Hotel, which hasn't long reopened, because a lot of people were asking me about that. I was quite surprised. It seems that just lately the hotels are not doing too great. Some of them need cosmetic attention, people are saying. They're looking a little old and worn out. I can't comment on that because obviously I've not got access to all the hotels. They were complaining about staff's attitude. So, give me a little bit of feedback. How are you finding the hotels over here at the moment? Would you agree with some of these poor reviews about staff attitude, maintenance issues? I was reading, I think it was the Orchid, but don't quote me on that. Somebody complained about the shower draining very, very slowly and a bad smell in the bathroom, so they asked to be moved. They moved them, and they had the same problem in the second room, but didn't have the smell, but it was still the shower draining slowly. So maintenance definitely an issue over here, and also staff, people complaining about the road that runs between the beach and onto Patak Road. It's called Karon Road, but there is two Karon roads, and that is the road. It's not a private road, it's a public road, but it's the one that you get access to the old Phuket hotel. And they were saying the security guard is very abrupt and aggressive when people try to use it to walk through, because obviously if you have to walk all the way around, it's a long walk. They don't want people to walk through and down that road. I don't know why, because if it's a public road, then everybody should be able to walk down there freely. A few bars here, I'm glad to say they're still here from the last time. Only smaller ones, but if you're staying locally here, at least you've got somewhere where you can grab a drink. Quite good shopping as well around here. A lot of souvenir shops and swimwear shops and different things that you can buy if you haven't got any transport, of course, and you don't want to catch the buzz anywhere. You can come round here, grab yourself a few beers. Plenty of restaurants around here as well. Still quite early. I've actually, going back to the weather, it's causing problems with recording obviously the videos. The weather's been so bad, I've had to cancel. On Tuesday I was due to go out and record for my main channel, my food channel, but just as we left the house it absolutely threw it down, and in the end I had to turn around and go back home because it was raining so heavy we would have got absolutely drowned on the way to Patong. Another little bar. Swaddy Cab, the money bar. Ooh, that sounds a good one. And yeah, so I couldn't do that. By the time it finished, it lasted about 2.5 hours, that downpour. It was very heavy indeed, and by the time it had finished, it was too late to go over there, because the restaurant that I'm featuring on this week's video, if I can get it done, has is very popular, very busy, and I wanted to get in there as soon as it opens, because obviously the later in the evening the busier it gets, and it becomes problematic for filming with noise, etc. And I couldn't get over there early enough, and it would have been absolutely packed. It gets rammed. So that's one to look out for if you're interested in food in Patong. Go and check my other channel out, and if you haven't already, and follow me along there, because I'm covering Patong at the moment and some of the tourist areas. I shall be here in Karon, roti there, a big favourite over here. Different ones there, ham and cheese, pineapple. Ooh, I haven't tried a pineapple roti actually. Something I haven't tried. I normally have the banana and chocolate. That's a favourite of mine. A little roti store here. So we're basically with access to the side that we've just been walking down is just here. The beach, as you know, is just here. We're going to walk across here if we can get across. It is quite a busy road, as you can see. It's the main sort of beach area. Let's have a go through here. Thank you. And we'll take a quick look at the beach in this part. And we're not too far away from the Pullman, which used to be the Hilton. We've got a few larger hotels just around this area. You might know it, you might not. So plenty of choice when it comes to accommodation. So a good little area to stay. And of course you've got the southern end, which I've covered and you've seen. It's not too far a walk, maybe 5-10 minutes depending on your pace. Well, let's go and have a walk over to the beach and see what's happening over there. But I'm going to be back over in Karon in the coming weeks and months. I'm going to be checking out some food places over here on my other channel. So as I say, if you haven't already checked that out, then go and have a look at that. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, then please do. I'm trying to build it up. I've broke it off into different channels just so the content's a little bit easier to find. Some people don't like what I've done and others do. It's just the way I felt about what I needed to do, and hopefully now we can move forward. Actually, there's a few in the sea there. Is there any flags out? Again, I'm going to mention it. Quite a few drownings over the last few weeks, unfortunately. It is a very common occurrence here in Phuket at this time of year. A very unnecessary occurrence, I might stress, and that's why I do go on about it quite a bit, because people just ignore the flags, and they're there for your benefit, nothing else, only your benefit. But you can see we're middle of November, and I would say we're still in monsoon season at the moment. It hasn't ended yet. There's more to come, definitely more rain to come. The forecast is until the 27th at least, and I would say possibly this year you're going to see rain as far back as December, and I've seen it in December myself. I've mentioned this before, so you do have to take it with a pinch of salt. Just if you're coming over here, just take the weather as it comes, just have a few ideas. If it's not sunny and you can't come on the beach, I mean, it's coming up to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. Well, it's 3:39. There you go, and it is Friday the 21st of November, if you're wondering the date. And you can see that's quite a few people on the beach. You can see there's quite a few people here. I wouldn't say it's packed, by no means. It's not packed, but there's definitely people here enjoying themselves, and you've just got to grab those moments when you can. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at the middle section of Karon. Of course, I'm going to be back over covering the nightlife of Karon. It's a lot more laid back than obviously Patong and some other places. It's not so much in your face, it revolves more around bars and restaurants. It's more chilled. If you're looking for a party, then really you want to be looking at going into Patong, maybe Kata, but I feel that Kata's a similar nightlife, maybe a little bit better than Karon's. I don't know. I'll leave that down to you to decide when we come to look at Kata's nightlife, and you can compare it back to Karon's, but I feel Karon's is a little bit quieter. There's not that many main areas for nightlife. I've shown you the sort of what I call the main town area. People may not call it that, but that was more the northern end of Karon, that end where we walk through the town, where the market takes place. That is what I would call the main area. And there's not loads of places, as in party places, bars. There's some, but not loads. So, drop me some comments down below. If you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up because it helps the channel. I'm trying to push it forward. And I guess that's it for this week. I will catch you very, very soon. Tuk tuk. Tuk tuk, anyone?